Um, okay, so week 6, yay! We're getting there. We have 2 more weeks left. But we have Bridget Shaw tonight, which is so exciting because she is amazing. And I was just peeking at it. It's 10 minutes, so I have a feeling it's going to be short and sweet,
Yeah.
but very powerful.
Packed full of knowledge, right? Yeah.
Yep. Like sometimes you just don't need all the extra fluff. You just need the basics. So I'm going to go ahead and play that, and then we can chat about it. My mom is putting the baby in bed real quick, but she'll be down too, so she'll probably, I don't know how much she'll catch, but she'll be great with us too. Let's see. And you'll have to tell me if you can hear when I play it.
Hi. Oh, wow. I am so excited to be with you. My name is Bridget Shaw, National Sales Director. And when I got the call from Karen to be one of the speakers for Boss Babes 2025 and Blazing the Trail edition, of course I said yes, because this program has just been so valuable for so many people. And so, yes, again, Karen, thank you for putting out and producing this amazing program. So you guys, let me tell you, when I started my Mary Kay business, I was in my 20s. My husband and I were both finishing up degrees. I was finishing my accounting degree. He was in seminary. We were both working full-time jobs. We had a 1-year-old. And so we had to figure out how to make a lot of things work. I met National Sales Director Emeritus Kathy Halou while I was on vacation. And I was in the midst of trying to figure out life. You know, I wanted more. I wanted more money. I wanted flexibility and friends, all the things that Mary Kay had to offer. I just didn't know anything about Mary Kay. And so when she approached me, it was almost like a fast no, but I'm so grateful that my husband was there and nudged me and said, you should try this business because it has become very much a family business. And so I will tell you that when I came home to start my business, I found that there was a little hiccup for me. And this was my blazing of the trail, you guys. My hiccup was that I worked from 3 until 11 because I went to school in the morning. And my husband worked midnight because he went to school in the morning so that someone would be there with Kayla after, I guess it was aftercare, daycare, something, I don't know. But anyway, and so our schedules were not traditional. And at that time, everything that was done for training and for recognition, all the things that were in place to build a business, those things happened while I was at work. And so we had to create a way for me to stay connected. And it really came down to sheer will and desire. I'm so grateful that my recruiter was able to paint a vision of what Mary Kay would do for my family. I'm so grateful that my adoptive sales director, Agnes Stewart at the time, taught me how to create an anchor and hold on. And what I mean by that is, I created a desire and a goal board of what it was I wanted from my Mary Kay business. And I so wanted to be able to work full time and to bring home an executive income. And so the visualization of that anchor was that whenever things didn't feel like they were going the way I wanted them to go, I was anchored. And then the vision part of what Mary Kay had to offer, my recruiter, her lifestyle, her beliefs were aligned with mine. God first, family second, career third, just like Mary Kay, the business, opportunity, the model. And so all of those things created a very strong desire for me. So what I'm saying is, as you're blazing the trail for your business, you've got to figure out what it is that you really, really, really want. And that way you become unshakable, right? Because when you're building a business, you're going to have unexpected things that will come up. And that is when you need an anchor. And so for me, in blazing this trail of figuring out how to work my business and stay connected, even though I was unable to go to events, I had to find different ways. And so I had to find a way to stay plugged into my leader. So you can imagine there were a lot of phone calls, there were a lot of emails going out. And whenever I held an appointment, I would call her after the appointment, tell her the things that I love, tell her the things that I wanted to change. We do a little quick tweak, and I go back out in the field again and work. And so really, I had to figure out how to stay connected, even though I wasn't going to the success meeting. I listened to a lot of CDs and tapes. Oh my gosh, I'm aging myself, but you guys know what I mean. I listened to a lot of training segments from people who were where I wanted to be. Anytime the company offers an opportunity for you to be in front of people who are really blazing the trail with their businesses, that is what I mean when I say plug in to your leader and those who are where you want to be. Next, I had to create a tight schedule because I was in school, so I had to study. I had time with my child. I was working full time. And so a tight schedule for me was if I was going to go to a success meeting, I had that time blocked out. And, if I was going to hold a class or a party, I had that time blocked out. And when there was Bible study, I had that time blocked out, right? So my schedule was tight. When I said I was going to do something, I was doing it. If I had a party that canceled, I would then do customer care calls or a sell-a-thon. I used to call it a sell-a-thon. So in that hour time that I would have been doing a party, I would instead do a sell-a-thon and do customer care calls or selling games with my customers. But if it was a time for me to work, I was going to work. If it was a time for me to play, I was going to play with no regrets because my schedule was always so tight. I always stayed organized. That's my next point. Stay organized. Let me tell you, one of my girlfriends would always say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? And so I always had my trays. This sounds really small, but it was such a big deal for someone who had such a busy schedule. But I always had my trays ready to go. I always had my starter kit cleaned and ready to go. When I came home from one party, I took the time to set it up for the next party. And so when it was time to go, I didn't have to get it ready. I could just pick it up and leave. I kept my products organized. Now listen, I'm not telling you that you need to spend hours organizing product because as quick as I was organizing it, it was leaving my shelf as well. But I kept things organized. I kept things in place. If someone wanted to stop by, there was a visual that they could see all the products that I have. And it was a lot of times that I would upsell. So it was just a matter of me staying organized and ready at all times. And then I was very disciplined. I kind of touched on that already. Sometimes I worked 2 hours a week, and then I was eventually able to move it up to 4 hours a week. And eventually I got up to probably as much as 15 hours a week, working my business very, very part-time. And so when I say you have to be disciplined with your time, that's what I mean, you guys. Blazing the trail in a business when you've never seen another person in your family be an entrepreneur, when you're not really able to be in the same city as your recruiter. Discipline with your time is crucial because we can get inside of our heads and we can start to be resentful of the time that we're spending building our businesses. Or when we're having playtime or free time with our family, we're worried about what we should be doing in our businesses. And that's not how it works. And so the discipline for me was really strict. I say strict, but not, it was in a weekly plan sheet. It was always listed. My family knew what I was going to be doing, when I was going to be doing it. And that way, we could organize our life around, my schedule of school, work, building a Mary Kay business. It was all in one place so that we could organize and be disciplined with it. And it passed on to my children. They were able to create that same kind of discipline and tight schedule for their lives in school and sports and things like that. And then that just trickles right on down to what I was going to share next. Include your family in everything. Everything. My kids were able to help me put labels on the back of my products. They were able to help me bag the products. They knew that, we were working towards a fabulous trip for the family, or we were working on a new electronic device for the family. So they always felt like they were connected. But in that process of helping the family to build our Mary Kay business, they got a lot of skill sets that they're able to use today. So when I think about blazing a trail for you as a beauty consultant, it is really going to be whatever you have to do that is different, that looks different from the way it's being laid out. Right now, it might be the fun of being able to work your business and do it in person, and at the same time have someone else that's watching and they're virtual. I love working that way. You know, I used to take a facial with me to a party. Now I can do a party in someone's home and then set it up where I have someone else that is watching virtually and building. Just being able to create different ways. And as you do that in selling the product, people who are watching you are also going to start to think, wow, this is going to be something that I can create and put into my life, and I can work this differently for me. So not only are you going to be selling product and building customers, but by blazing this trail of doing things differently, the way that it fits your family, you're also going to be able to teach another woman how to build a business for her family. Okay? So I'm going to tell you, be a boss babe, be a bad chick, blaze a trail, and do it the way you need to do it to have an incredible Mary Kay journey.
So good. Okay. Were you listening?
Isn't what she's supposed to ask you, the kids? Were you listening?
Were you listening?
I'm sitting right next to her. She asked me if I'm listening.
Well, I'm asking because I told her that you're gonna debrief the combo with us. So,
I'm gonna debrief the combo.
well, yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Okay, I'm ready.
Just Billy,
Hi, Billy.
not just Billy, but
The hardcore ones, yeah.
just the three best friends that anyone can have. Okay, well, I'll start with you, Billy, and then I'll have my mom share what she has, and then I'll share. But what did you love? What did you take away?
I guess a couple of the biggest ones was they plugged in, whether it's with your leaders, event, podcast, but they plugged in so you don't lose that vision. And then the I guess again, it kind of goes back to the whys. So having your anchor or a vision board or whatever it takes for you to stay committed to work hard or whatever it takes for you to squeeze in those times and for your work harder or work smarter, not harder. So you know the discipline piece I think helps a lot too.
Yeah.
Because I know that's where I struggle is I'll set time away, whether it's a weekly plan sheet or whatever. But this is my hour to do messaging. This is my hour for customer service, and that's where I struggle. I'll get started then squirrel moment or something, and then yeah, I lose track of it and don't go back to it. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. What about you?
Well, from what I heard, I really liked the part that she says to include your family and show them because it's also disciplining them for their future, but it's also including them and they have more understanding of what it takes and why their mom is so busy, but it's because they're reaching a goal together. So I thought that was really cool. And then just being very, very busy and doing, keeping your schedule tight and doing what you say you're going to do. And if something falls off your books, then don't just give up, but, go ahead and do some more booking or try to sell, but still use that time for the Mary Kay time. I really like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what's funny is what this really reminded me of course, and we've all actually have been having more conversations about this more recently, but just going back to the basics of like the weekly plan sheet. And I know Billy, like we did that a couple weeks ago where we kind of sorted through your schedule and found those different time slots and it's just such a powerful tool that I think we underestimate. And, really that is something that as consultants, I mean, as directors, that's more normal. I shouldn't say normal, but that's more of something that we do. Like, it's just a habit that we've built, is making our weekly plan sheet. But really, that is a tool that consultants should be doing and learning from the very, very beginning. Because kind of what she was saying was it teaches them to not only honor their time outside of Mary Kay, right? But like with your family or whatever it is, work, school, activities, like whatever it is, you not only honor that, but then when you do have those Mary Kay time slots, then you are also honoring those. And really, what I believe that allows in your life is well, obviously less like chaos, right? We can all agree that when we have like a better schedule, we have less chaos in our life. But it also is it takes away the guilt sometimes, like, or like the, I don't even know if you would call it like imposter syndrome. But like, have you ever felt, I'm sure you have, but have you ever felt where you're like supposed to be at work or supposed to be hanging out with your family, and like you didn't get your Mary Kay work done, and so then you're like, oh, I really should be doing my Mary Kay work, but like also I should, like, this, my family's here, so I should be hanging out with my family. And so then it just causes this like circle of something where we're just like, it's almost like we're torn, and then we're not even fully able to enjoy either one of them, right? Or vice versa, where like you just were supposed to hang out with your family, and because you didn't do your Mary Kay work, you did all your Mary Kay work during that time, and then you didn't get to hang out with your family. And so then now when you have an appointment and that appointment cancels, you're like, well, like, I'd rather just go to dinner with my family because, so it works either way. And, really, and I've even been there before. I still sometimes get into that weird, like, limbo. And one of the things that I notice, especially about myself, is when I have at least those time slots like scheduled, and I know and I can expect what I'm going into, I'm much more intentional about that time and that work time, especially like my Mary Kay work time, where it's like booking or customer service or like whatever. And I can go in knowing like, okay, this is just like a 30-minute time block that I'm going to book for. And once I'm done with that, I get to move on to the next thing. And so one of the tips, because I heard you kind of mention, Billy, sometimes you'll have it scheduled, or you'll start doing it, and it's like you said, like, it's so easy. We have so many distractions nowadays. Like, you could get on to go do customer service, and then you need the customer's number, so you like get on Facebook to get her number, and then all of a sudden you're 7 videos deep into chicken coops, and then you're like, oh, what was I doing? And then you like are like, I'm gonna scroll on Instagram now, and then like 20 minutes later you're like, oh yeah, I was going to get Susie's number. And then you like go back to get Susie's number, and it starts all over, right? And I've totally done that before, and I do it sometimes too. And one of the things that has really helped me over the years is I literally will set a physical timer on my phone, even if it's just small increments. So like 15 minutes. So if I have like a booking time slot for like, let's say an hour, you could break it up into 15-minute increments. And so you would just start your timer, okay, get to booking. And then if you like happen to get off track for some reason, that 15-minute thing is going to go off, right? Like, say you're scrolling Instagram on accident, that's going to go off, and your brain is going to go, oh, whoa, like I wasn't even doing what I was supposed to be doing, right? And then you can restart it, and then continue again. And so just little things like that where, like, it's not that we don't want to have the discipline, but like truly it is something where there's just so many distractions in the world that we live in. And maybe you don't even break it up into 15-minute increments, but like even if you set it for, sometimes I'll just do like 30 minutes. And there's like this weird switch in my mind that goes, okay, 30 minutes, like I can work for 30 minutes. But like when we don't have an end time to it, I think that's when our mind can start to drift, and it can start to like, oh, I sent one booking text, and then like, cause you just don't know how long you're going to be sitting there doing it for, right? It's kind of like if you were to go, like, I would relate it to going to the gym. If I go to the gym and I don't have a workout plan, I could walk around that gym for 2 hours and like get nothing done, right? But if I go to the gym with like a 30-minute, or even if I'm at home and the video is a 30-minute video, my mind instantly goes, I can work out for 30 minutes, and it's like no longer hard, right? So setting those timers, setting those slots, not only honoring those slots that you have created, um, but then sitting down and doing it, and if you get cut off early, take that 15 minutes and add it to the next one, or add it later in the day or something like that. But really just getting rid of that, like I said, that guilt piece where we're mixing time slots, because that doesn't serve anything. And then setting some kind of, everyone works different, right? Like, but setting some kind of guideline or timer or something where you go, okay, like 15 minutes. How many texts can I send out in 15 minutes? And then move on or keep going. And by that time, usually when I'm 15 minutes in and I'm actually like on a roll, I find that I'm on a roll and I just keep going without even like thinking of it. So I don't know if that's helpful at all, but
I think it is. And I think what really helps me kind of, like this weekend I slacked because we were here with the baby, but I still knew I had to get some follow-ups done, which I did finally this morning. But I think what really helps me is having a buddy to do it with. So like, Tanya and I talked throughout the week, and I said, okay, well, I'll just come over Monday night. And so we've done that a couple times, and I actually sit down there and I work, and we both work. And I know it's harder for you because you're in Trinidad, but maybe we can start doing it 30 minutes again or whatever. And I don't know, it just, seeing somebody else doing the same thing that you're doing makes it even more okay. And you don't feel like, well, gosh, it's just me, but if you're with someone, you're like, okay, well, we can do this, let's get it done. So I don't know, it's helpful for me to go to Tanya's, or like this weekend with her being here, we did a lot, and we got some things accomplished too. So
some.
some.
Yeah, and we used to, actually, we would do like booking blitz. We would schedule like a 30-minute or an hour, like either in place of the meeting or during the meeting or on a different day. And so if that's something too, where it's like, hey, I need some accountability, like who wants to hop on and book? And it just, like she said, I don't know, it like changes your focus.
It's
somehow.
A safe place. Like nobody's going to judge you if you don't get appointments. You don't feel like, oh, well, Julie got one or Billy got 5. It's not a place to judge or anything. It's just a place to maybe, I don't know, be comfortable with each other, or just seeing that somebody else is working with you. Mm-hmm. It's a safe place to kind of do those things.
Yeah. Anything else come to mind?
Not for me.
Oh, I think you're muted.
I'm muted, yeah.
Okay,
we kind of talked about the if something fell through, whether it be an appointment or something like that, to use that as a sell-a-thon. So you're still doing, I guess you said, income producing activity and not losing that time slot to do, I don't know, laundry or whatever. You're still going to use that as a Mary Kay time slot.
Yep. And one of the things I'll tell you too, Billy, because that is a habit I've built pretty decent. There's some times where I'm still, where I have an appointment canceled and I have something else that just has to take a priority. But one of the things that really helped me in that area was having either like a list or like a master list or something that I knew, okay, if an appointment cancels, this is what I'm going to work on. Because what happens is when we don't have that list or we don't have any ideas, right? It gets to Tuesday at 4 p.m. when you were supposed to have your appointment. She cancels. And then you go, okay, well, I don't know what to work on. So I guess I'll go cook dinner, you know. And obviously we never want to have appointments cancel, but I think when we really start booking appointments, and even you, Billy, like now you're having more appointments booked and things like that, right? You can pre-look at those for the week and go, okay, I have an appointment on Wednesday, I have one on Friday, and if either one of those cancel, hopefully they don't, but if either one of those cancel, I am going to do 30 booking text, or I'm going to do my customer service for February or whatever, right? So like I almost mentally will tell myself like, okay, I know I have an appointment coming up on Friday. If for whatever reason she doesn't show up, I'm going to do X Mary Kay task instead. And then if she does end up coming, right, I just have to find a different place to do that task. But being prepared, you know, and I remember a while ago, my mom had earned a training session with Dave Van Mal, our senior national, and one of the smartest things she ever told me, and I like just will never forget it. It was when my mom was like really busy, my grandma was sick, and she was just like, I don't know how to like manage my time, right? And Dave Van said the best thing that you can do for yourself is prepare before you get to the time slot. Because if you get to the time slot, you're going to spend 15 to 20 minutes preparing what you're going to do. And then that time slot is like already over, right? So, for example, if we're going to be doing booking, like say your booking hour is Mondays at 3, right? Before you get to Monday at 3, you have done lead generating, you've gotten your contact list ready, you have, like, I don't even know, written down your list of who you need to follow up with. Like, you have prepared. What was that?
Bubble sheets.
Bubble sheets. Yep, bubble sheets. So you've prepared so that when it hits Monday at 3, you just sit down and you start working. And when we don't do that, right, then we sit down Monday at 3 and we'll go, okay, who am I going to contact? I got to write out my list. Okay, where's my bubble sheet? Okay, who do I need to follow up with? And by that time, it's 3:30, 3:45, and we're distracted and it's over, right? So prepare yourself for the time slot. And I would take that into, like I said, when we're thinking ahead and saying, okay, I have an appointment Friday. If she cancels, here's the list of people I'm going to sit down and contact, or like customer service or book or like whatever. So
right. Yeah, kind of like Bridget said, to stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Different way to say that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just sat here and I snapped my fingers and I said, "Oh shoot," because we're having a big sale at work this week, 3-day, and because I'm in Denver, I got a lot of things prepared for my husband Mike and the guy coming in, Kyle, for our event. And so I printed the list. I got test sheets ready. I did a whole bunch of stuff to be prepared for them. And just now I realized my husband was supposed to call me and transfer the phones over to me so I could answer them tomorrow, and he didn't. But then I thought, oh, well, he'll get to work early and I'll just have him do it in the morning. So you have to remind me. But one of our bosses that I had in the last year, 6 months, he talked on the same subject, and he said, okay, so what if somebody canceled? Then you just, you say, okay, well, good. He canceled. Now who can I move up? Or that kind of thing, like Tanya was talking about. And that's really helped me out at work, because it's like, oh, well, so-and-so was interested in getting new hearing aids, but I don't have them scheduled till next week. And so when I have somebody cancel, I'm like, oh, now I can move so-and-so up. And so I give them a call. So like Tanya says, I always kind of have that backup plan at work. And if we do it the same way with Mary Kay, then I think you get used to that schedule and say, oh yeah, well I told so and so that I'd contact them if I had some time. So yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta
Yeah.
say,
So weekly plan sheets, getting those done on a weekly basis. One of the things too that Holly and I have worked with Andy the last month or so, because she has kind of a rotating schedule, and then she's obviously busy like most of us. But as directors, we really, and not, I shouldn't say everybody, but for the most part, we do our weekly plan sheets on a weekly basis. But that takes time. That takes a time slot. That takes extra. And so one thing that we just kind of shifted in Andy's um, implementation is she's doing a weekly plan sheet for 4 weeks for the whole month, basically. And then obviously if something comes up and she needs to kind of like white it out and change it or like whatever. But now that we're at March 4th, I think it'd be a really good plan to just take that weekly plan sheet, print out 4 of them. Let's do all of March. Get your master schedules done, get everything kind of figured out and settled, and then that way you have a strong start for when you're going to be holding your appointments for March, when you're doing your IPAs, when you're doing your booking, things like that. And then that way, as you start booking, our goal is to have 10 bookings by the 10th, 10 bookings by the 5th, usually. Well, if you were to have those weekly plan sheets done for the whole month, you'd be able to start those bookings and just be like, boom, boom, boom. I could do you here. I could do you here. So that has kind of been a really, I think, helpful tool. Is if you don't have time every week to sit down and like do the highlighting and plan out your weeks, and I know especially you, Billy, like your schedule, sometimes you're here and sometimes you're not, and sometimes it's listed and sometimes it's not, right? Doing that once a week and sitting down mentally, whereas like if you could sort out most of it now, and then if you need to go in and like, okay, golf course, I got this, or whatever. But it just gives you the better visual for it for the whole month. So I'd get those printed out, and then I have mine kind of set up differently. So I have mine pretty much sorted. I just kind of have to go in and add, and we have to add like career conference. So what are we doing with that, and when are we leaving? And obviously we can't hold appointments that weekend, so filtering out all those things that we have going on to allow what's left for Mary Kay. So
and color coding those appointments really make them stand out in different ways, I think, because then like purple's Mary or pink's Mary Kay, purple's golf course or my office or whatever, or family time is yellow, and then you kind of start getting an idea of what's where, and you can spot it easily. So I like that too.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is it's so funny because when we plug in all the other obligations we have, and I would probably say from what I know, well, I don't know. Never mind. That's a sweating spell. Once we plug in all the things that we like already know, so like different jobs, school, work, family, whatever, it's so amazing. We actually see those pockets of time that were available, and we go, "Oh, whoa, I'm actually not as busy as I thought I was," But here's the thing, and this is what I'll challenge you as well, is don't look like if you have because this is even myself, right? I don't have a different job, and I don't have kids, and I don't go to school. So like I have pretty big chunks of my day that are open. And I could look at that and I could go, okay, I have 5 hours on Monday afternoon, and I could book that all pink. But like that doesn't bring me joy, right? I only really need an hour. Like I need an hour of booking. So when you see those open empty spots, don't feel obligated that you're like, oh, now I got to fill this all in with like Mary Kay stuff, right? The average part-time consultant really needs at most 3 to 5 to 5 to 7 hours a week to have a successful Mary Kay business. And when you look at that way, I think that just relieves so much pressure because it's like 1 hour on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, like maybe you have 3 appointment time slots on Saturday. And by that time, like you've got all your Mary Kay, you have your customer service, you have your booking, you have your appointment time slots, and then you sprinkle in all the stuff kind of around and in between, right? But when I did my schedule, it was very, very tight and strict with that because when I had a job and was in school. And if I were to look back at a lot of those calendars, it really was just like 5 to 7 hours a week that I was like booking, customer service, holding appointments, going to my meeting. Anything above and beyond that, like I said, I think sometimes we go, oh, I have 3 hours I could book. Nobody books for 3 hours. So don't schedule 3 hours, just schedule 1 hour. And then just be intentional in that time. So
Also, what really helped me, Billy, a while back is I just felt overwhelmed with work and Mary Kay, and my husband wanted to go golf and this and that and taking care of my brother. It just like overwhelmed me. And so I think at one of the seminars I went to, and I can't remember who said this, but you need to choose one day of the week and have a self-care day and do whatever you want to do that whole day. Either pamper yourself, go do something with your husband, sleep all day, go for a drive, go for a hike, but make it all about you that one day. And then that way you don't feel guilty about, missing work or missing Mary Kay or doing this or that or the other, because you're taking one whole day for yourself and don't feel guilty because you're doing that. But that really helped me a lot too, I think. So now I choose like one day and I tell my husband, okay, this is our day out of the week that we could go do this. Or if he can't do it, if he's got other plans, I'll clean the house or I'll sit around and do nothing all day, or go to Cripple Creek with my sister. But I take that day for myself.
Fill your cup back up.
Yeah.
Which we talked about too, Billy.
What?
Oh, I said what you and I talked about too the other day, where you take priority of yourself and take care of yourself.
Yep.
So, well, that was good. I really loved that. I love how these videos are bringing a lot of the basics back too. Like, we just forget. That it's there's simple basic skills. So I've been working more on my weekly plan sheets, like really planning them out and just kind of doing a time study, just really seeing what my time is spent on during the week. And so I'm excited to just see your plan sheets and just help you kind of feel more organized and intentional, and just have ease in what you're doing. I think that's
you can't think that it's rocket science, and you have to, you have to build the next house in the next 6 days or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think my biggest problem is I don't write down my plan sheet because I have it all in my head. So like these next 3 days, I know I'm going to be here tomorrow in Denver, but I have to be at work Thursday and Friday to help with this. But I don't have it anywhere in a timesheet. And then this weekend, my husband wants to go golf, but I didn't write it down anywhere. And then next weekend, I have career conference, and so I get to a point where it's like, oh shoot, I was supposed to do that. Well, it's not on my plan sheet. I can't write it down. So yes, I can do better with organizing myself as far as making that weekly plan sheet or even monthly and looking at it and not just keeping things in my head, because I think that would relieve a lot of my stress itself because it's all written down. I did an exercise a while back too because again, I've always kept everything in my head and then I forget to do something. So somebody told us if you forget to do something and you're at home, write it down, get it off your mind. So before you go to bed, say, oh yes, I got to do this at work tomorrow and I got to go here, I got to order this, I got to pick this up at the store. Write it all down so that you don't think about it when you go to sleep. And then that's a lot less stress on your too. which frees up your way of thinking, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I agree that I need to get better with planning my sheets.
Yep. Okay, so everyone's goal. Weekly plan sheet. Yay! Ready, set, break.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, we'll see everybody next week for week 7.
Sounds
And
good.
can't wait. So talk to
All
you
right.
this week and ongoing. So have a good
Okay.
rest of your week.
Bye.
All righty.